because he can see from the nose. Okay, I'll show you a different game. It's kind of easy.
Okay, Jeremy, you gonna join us? No. All right. Okay. Let's put the hand down. Dave, Charlie, you be the goose, okay? You have to sit down.
Duck, 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 goose.
Run,
Hurry, Charlie, sit down, sit down. Run, place, she can tag you.
Okay, Allison. Goose.
Goose. That'll be fast. Hurry, she's the fast one.
There.
Duck, 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 goose. David, hurry! Nobody's better than goose. I meant to be so duck, duck.
You went the
Nobody's
other
better
way.
than a cookie pot.
Duck.
My turn.
Duck.
Goose. I haven't been in.
Goose. I have to go.
You can't go that fast.
Well, there's in the note.
Duck, 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 duck. Stacey, you can't go fast. Duck, 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 goose.
Go get her, Allison.
Julie has Pick Julie this time.
Don't, because then you don't hold your shit.
Goose. Sit down. I tagged her. Stacey, you went too fast.
You're no fun. You always win, Stace. Come on. Okay, Allison, you join me.
Want to come play
No,
back?
you go out. You go out now.
I'm
You're
out?
out because
Okay.
someone else is in.
Okay.
There's only allowed one
Oh, you're
person
lucky.
in at a time.
I like that in there.
Yeah.
Duck. Stacey, you're no fair. Duck. 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 Goose. Stacey, you're not fair anyways. Duck. 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 Goose. Charlie! Charlie, sit down!
I got you, Charlie.
Okay, you're out. You're out. Very noisy, that game. The boys say boys in the middle.
Duck.
Oh, my coffee.
Duck. Duck.
Duck.
Duck.
Here you go, winning against Stace.
Don't do that. Walk. Walk, Stacey.
Okay.
You're no fair. You shouldn't do that. Duck. Don't push. I've got the one you got. Goose. Oh, Stacey, that didn't count. It was unfair. I didn't.
You were spaced out. That doesn't matter, David.
Stacey, you can't do that. You gotta go around this way. That's the only way. Go.
Okay. Now let's do something else now.
How about our
You shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
Get out.
You put your left foot in, you put your left foot out, you put your left foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Right on. You put your right arm in, you put your right in, you put your right hip out, you put your right hip in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your left hip in, you put your left hip out, you put your left hip in and you shake it all about. You put your whole self in, you
That's what it's all about.
Mommy?
I think we're going to have to
Mommy? Allison, she's taking you. Do this. Give me quick corn. What?
Marks?
Now for the second tester.
They lost it.
Happy birthday.
That was a game.
Put the papers in here. This is tiring. The water in here.
Oh.
Mommy got ready corn. You're full. Buddy.
Look at together.
Charlie, you have to put the papers in before you start opening another. Here.
Then we'll let us stuff, don't you think?
Charlie, put the papers in. Put the papers in. Put the papers in.
What is it? It's a game.
It's coming out with
Yeah.
something that made me
Charlie,
laugh.
Don't open it. Don't rock on it. For my mom. Okay, Mom, don't open it.
I don't know what to do.
A cup. Charlie, put the papers in. Oh, I have it. I got it. What book?
Somebody
I don't know. That one.
There's something that's so annoying. It's really annoying. I'll just look at the different,
Don't do it.
we bought them like
What is it?
but put it in the oven. So we couldn't
It's
take
a
that
wood
back.
game. Charlie, put the papers in. David, leave everything alone.
Small photo to put on and focus.
Oh, I got a little lobby. I'm so glad because I lost my other lobby, my old lobby. Look underneath here. Okay, let me open it.
Oh,
No, Charlie, we're not opening it. Mom, the presents are all done. You Charlie,
I was in the library.
here, don't open. Don't open. Don't open. Why not? I'm not trying to get them later. You cut open this book.
It's like this little baby red.
See what you got. And this is what you do. Don't eat till Charlie takes the first bite. Yep, you can't eat till Charlie takes the first bite. Yep, Charlie has to take the first bite. Charlie, come on over here. Is that my hippo thing?
Yep.
Charlie, take the first bite of anything if you wish.
I think it's all right then.
I'm getting hungry. Okay, Charlie, take the first bite. I'm getting hungry. Who made it?
Who's hungry?
He ate. Take his first bite. Who made it? You must eat that right now. I want one too.
Sure, if
Sure.
there's any.
Oh, that'll be fine.
Mom, can I have a cup? Mom.
Here, David.
It's coming. It's coming.
They won't.
Absolutely.
No, it's a cheap. Well, we don't.
You can't do it that way. You have to hold like this.
We just can't go. It's most annoying. People are trying to change it because it's a ruthlessly outdated system. And in a few cases, they're allowing
people run
but
after
if
it.
they have a different
Nah.
way to serve, you can
And
take
try
it
to do it.
through.
I'm
You cannot have a child in the
Would you like another piece of pizza?
It's gonna be some tummy. That is a thing to grow up. Right. Then, do you want to be more to eat? No, you've eaten them. Not ready.
I'm getting smaller than I was.
Oh,
If I ate this candy, they're called Smarties. They make you smart. Smarties, that's why they're called Smarties.
nicely done, Mother. Yeah.
Yes, very nice.
I'm sorry.
Can you get this out of my hair? There. I have this one.
Charlie.
Fortunately, we had an extra.
We have 2 extras.
That's great.
We're just about to cut on it, Siobhan.
You can keep that. You keep that. Don't pass it on.
Let's step out, Charlie, into it. Is everybody else? There's a spoon there, Ben. Yeah, looks like it.
Margaret, do you have one? Yellow.
Margaret, yeah? And who's this?
Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster.
Are you getting
The eyes are M&M's.
Oh yes, that's good. We actually been using it. I first came across it when I was teaching remedial 14-year-olds.
They're brown eyes.
Try and make them see us.
words could be interesting?
He has no eyes.
Electric company too, which is
I love that. That's
Open.
but you have different
I'm a
companies,
duckling.
a bit like
Duckling. I didn't know I'm not supposed to eat.
same,
Yeah, how am I supposed to eat?
one contact, which is fine.
Hey, I'm a duckling.
Yes,
Supposed to
I've seen that then
believe
part of that
me. Now I take your
It's
penguin.
just the sense with the cartoon.
Like this.
going off. Some of them is going off. That last.
Very good.
Yeah, David's done that.
The elements look good.
Oh, yeah. But then
They are?
there's the Hulk. Maybe with
Mm.
time.
Let me taste.
Yeah, I still watch that.
Yes, they are.
What if you cook?
What's your name? Very good indeed. Very good indeed. Down! Let me drink. Why don't This is how I drink. This is how I drink with the cap still on. Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster's eating the cookie. No. Yeah, he eat a cake. I know he was supposed. It showed that he was eating a cookie monster. See? He's eating a cookie. That cookie's in his mouth. Birthday to you. Ta ta ta. Happy birthday, dear Charlie. Ta ta ta. Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha.
Wait. Okay, you're gonna blow it now? Keep going. Very good, Charlie. Yay,
How
Charlie.
old are you? Cha cha cha. How old are you? Cha cha cha. How old are you now? Cha cha cha. I'm 4 years. Sing, Charlie. I'm 9 years old. I'm not that years old. I'm not that years old. I'm not that years old.
Is there juice? Yeah, there's a thing of grape.
Oh. Okay. I'll take the grape.
Hey, Margaret.
Okay.
Mother has juice, find the knife.
More. Mommy. More juice, please.
How about cake first?
Oh, is it?
I bet Charlie would like Winnie the Pooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
Yes, ma'am. Here, Margaret. Let's go.
Threw an object at the windshield of an oncoming truck late yesterday, causing minor injuries to the driver. Andy?
In Poynette, an independent trucker says he won't attempt to drive his rig because he fears violence almost as much as he opposes the federal gasoline and trucking tax hikes. Eric Schindler has more on that story.
Since the independent truck strike began 5 days ago, there have been unofficial reports of as many as 315 separate strike-related incidents involving gunfire, some of that right here in Wisconsin. It is this threat of violence that is keeping truckers off the road, whether sympathetic to the strike or not. 24-year-old Charles Jellings of Poynette is one of those truckers. He has been driving a truck almost as long as he's been old enough to drive. He's an independent trucker who, along with his father and brother, makes his living running produce and meat between Wisconsin and California. But he's not driving now. Not driving because he opposes federal gas tax increases and hikes in trucking fees. Not driving because he is afraid.
I value my life, and I value my truck. I mean, you know, okay, say you're going down the road in your car, you want somebody shooting at you in your car? Okay, you know, it's just that simple. You don't want no damages coming to you or no damages coming to your car.
Jellings says he could lose as much as $5,000 a week while the strike lasts. Better that than risk personal injury or damage to his all-important rig.
I'll stay out. I'll stay out for as long as it takes. I might lose my truck and my trailer, but I'll stay out because I can always go get another job driving for somebody else then. I think these guys are a bunch of fools that are out there right now getting shot at. They want to get shot at, fine, more power to them, but I ain't gonna.
He also says a call to have all truckers stop driving for 1 hour in protest to end the strike is stupid. He says it will never work. Jellings says he'll wait out the strike as long as it takes because he knows he can't afford federal gas and truck tax increases and he opposes the situation. But he says if he does have to make a run in the near future, he might consider carrying a weapon. Eric Schindler, Source 27 News.
Dane County has a new judge today. 33-year-old Assistant Attorney General Edward Marion has been tapped by Governor Earl. Marion will succeed Judge Irvin Bruner, who is retiring. Marion served as state's lawyer in the murder trial of Ralph Armstrong. And for 3 years, he was head of the State Justice Department's Criminal Appeals Unit.
Here comes summer fun. It's the 1983 Dane County Camping Show and Sale. See the new ideas in recreation vehicles, campers and travel trailers that pull easily behind compact cars, luxurious park model RVs for a vacation home that can move to your favorite spots. There's camping equipment, motorhomes. Visit with your favorite campground owners, too. Get ready for fun and savings at the Dane County Camping Show and Sale, Friday, February 4th through Sunday, February 6th at the Dane County Forum next to the Coliseum.
Things will never be the same at Tucker Inn. Because starting today, I'm serving a new topping. Not just any new topping. Now there's another Cool Whip, an extra creamy dairy recipe. But it's not dairy that's so exciting. It's this extra creamy, fresh as homemade taste. And taste is what counts at Tucker Inn.
Great topping.
Delicious. See what I mean?
Cool Whip whip topping, original and new extra creamy dairy recipe.
2 great, fresh as homemade tastes.
Reports indicate the General Motors plant in Janesville has lost a chance to add a second shift. A Milwaukee newspaper reports Janesville has been bypassed in favor of a plant in Lordstown, Ohio. The report says the reason is primarily because Lordstown is putting out a slightly better quality car. GM spokesman John Miller in Detroit has declined to comment directly on that report. He does say, however, the Janesville plant is a high-quality operation, but he says, quote, Lordstown just happens to be a little higher at this point. Andy?
The vacation business is reportedly booming as travelers take advantage of the lowest price airline specials in years. However, while the special rates attract thousands, Bruce Neeb reports some hidden drawbacks are turning many potential vacationers away.
Go to the West Coast, round trip for 1/3 of the normal fare. You'll get a free ticket for another flight. Go anywhere in the country for $198 round trip. Take your kids for free.
It is going over huge because, you know, it's such a good deal that people can't turn it down, and I think with the shape of the economy, they need a break.
The airlines are losing a lot of money on the promotional flights and spending a lot of money advertising them because the competition between airlines is furious.
They're obviously going to give, you know, their leading fare, and that's the most reasonable, so people will call on it, but then they'll be sold out, or I guess I shouldn't say it's deceiving, but they have to be very flexible to go at that fare.
Roach says it may mean rescheduling your vacation for a week or even a month later, and you may have to collect on that free flight as early as May, in some cases only in May. Roach says most people do find ways to adjust.
Other people are just like, well, that's, you know, gimmicky and I can't go then, and that's maddening that they advertise this.
In other words, don't schedule your budget vacation until you're sure of your budget flight. Bruce Neeb, Source 27 News.
State Attorney General Bronson LaFollette says money recovered by the State Office of Consumer Protection last year totaled about $874,000. The amount was earlier pegged at just over $1 million, but LaFollette says a computer error is to blame. LaFollette says the error is regrettable, but the amount still represents the second highest money recovery for consumers in the history of the Attorney General's office. Andy?
Madison's Hoyt School is an interesting place where you can find preschool toddlers as well as the elderly, and they're all learning from each other. Dave Hefferly has more.
This converted school, now called the Hoyt Building, houses a number of children's schools, as well as St. Mary's Adult Day Health Center for older adults. Lori Neustadt, Activities Director, says the day center provides some unique therapy, mainly because of where they're located.
We tend to segregate in a society, and especially older people there's senior centers, nursing homes, adult centers, you know, where all the elderly people are kind of put together. And it's not normal for each of us to be segregated just with our own age groups, and neither is it so for older people or with kids. And the whole concept here is to get people out into the community and have people of all ages interacting and doing things together, just like the normal family unit or in any other segment of society.
She says the center is different because it provides the elderly an alternative to live at home and still get the medical and social attention they may need. Now the schools join in by providing what they call intergenerational involvement, and they say the children seem to enjoy it as well.
Aside from having the fun of being with the older people, they learn to deal with them on a day-to-day basis. The people are here all the time, and the children know who they are, and they've been anxious to know something about them.
Switch from side to side, everybody. Okay, down to the floor.
David Hefferly, Source 27 News.
Well, for students on the University of Wisconsin-Madison campus, joining ROTC used to be tantamount to accepting hazardous duty. But the military says more students are signing up now. Susan Yarbrough reports that may be due to changing attitudes on campus.
It's a cold, sunny day on the University of Wisconsin campus. These people are going skiing. 12 years ago, it was a different story. The Vietnam War, the draft, the bombing of Sterling Hall, and battles between students and National Guards. 12 years ago, even 5 years ago, this scene wasn't possible. They may not look like members of the military, and some of them aren't, but they're here in Madison this weekend for an ROTC conference. They're conferring not about military strategy or training, but about blood drives and children's hospital parties. This is the ROTC's area conclave, a kind of community service arm of the military. It's a softer view of the Air Force and is accompanied by more support on campus.
They realize that there is a reason that the ROTC students are on campus, and if it weren't for us, there would have to be a draft because it's we people who are volunteering to go into the military that are keeping other people from having to be there.
The UW Financial Aid's office says the increased interest in ROTC is financial. Students get paid for participating. ROTC officials say that's not the reason.
That $100 a month was put into place about 10 or 11 years ago. Now, $100 doesn't go as far now as it did 10 or 11 years ago. I don't think that is a reason because that is a very token amount of money.
Still, not all students are taken with the military.
I'd wipe out all
all Army, all Navy, all everything.
People are dying from hunger in the world, and you're making more nuclear equipment and warheads and everything just for a vague idea that people don't really know about it. All we know is that there's a big Russia that you gotta, make more weapons or whatever against it.
Some of these students say the military is okay, but they'd rather ski. Susan Yarbrough, Source 27 News.
2 Wisconsin congressmen are introducing legislation which would enable states to distribute about $1 billion in surplus goods. It would include cheese and other milk products. Representatives David Obey and Stephen Gunderson say their measure would provide $80 million to state governments for processing and transporting the surplus goods.
Those students heading off for the slopes, they're going to have more snow, fresh stuff.
Just a little bit this weekend. We'll be back next.
Mutual Savings and Loan. Our roots run deep in the soil of Wisconsin. We've been here for over 90 years, growing, building a bond of trust and friendship with the people of Wisconsin. Well, so what? What does this mean to you? Just this. Amid the noise and confusion, the offers and counter-offers of savings and investment opportunities, Mutual Savings stands as the kind of financial friend you can come to with confidence. Today, more than ever, Mutual Savings.
Brendan, I just washed that shirt. I can't keep up with you, and neither can this old machine.
How about a new washer?
I'd like to, Pete, but they must cost a fortune.
Not at the Appliance Mart. We've got Westinghouse, Hot Point, Whirlpool, and dryers too. Hot Point, Westinghouse, Whirlpool, and all this week, they're all on sale.
Thanks, Pete. I don't know how you do it.
Mom!
Looks like I got here just in time.
You bet.
I've heard a lot of talk about switching insecticides, but you know, the only real reason to switch is to get better, more consistent rootworm control. With Counter, I've already got the most consistent rootworm control you can buy. Years of university tests have proven that. Yep, with Counter in my field, I can count on great control year after year. That means I can count on something else year after year. Great yields.
America's long-suffering car buyer. First, they hit you with planned obsolescence. Then they sold you a gas guzzler. Now they lure you with small cars, then sock you with the price. If you're feeling a little punchy, consider a Volvo. It's roomy, well-built, and an excellent value for the money. The choice is simple. Look at a Volvo, or continue to be treated like a bozo.
A complete selection of Volvos is available at Smart Motors, 5901 Odana Road, Madison.
Hello, everybody. If you're feeling just a little bit put out and had enough of shoveling, I think that we'll approach the weekend without another major storm in mind. But we may have to do just a little bit of touch-up on the old front walk, especially tomorrow night. A pretty good chance that a weak storm will bring us perhaps 1 to 3 inches of snow in the south and just a dusting of snow up north, especially tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. Aside from that, the weekend looks quiet and on the cold side of normal. Here are the snow covers around the state right now, deepest in the northwest. It's definitely the deepest of this winter season so far throughout the entire state, as well as in southeast Minnesota, with the entire state, as we approach the weekend recreational period, reporting fine snow cover for all sorts of outside activities. There is a new storm that's developed today out to the west of us, currently centered just to the west of Kansas. It's going to take pretty much a due easterly track, and as a matter of fact, be centered just to the east of us here in Indiana and Ohio by Sunday. That means that with the main snow band well to the south of us, central Illinois, southern Iowa, and extending over into portions of Indiana, likely to pick up the heaviest snow, perhaps in the order of 6 to 8 inches, tomorrow night, and early on Sunday. Since we're well to the north of that, right now it looks like lighter snow for us, perhaps 1 to 3 in the southern portion of Wisconsin, and perhaps an inch or so of accumulation across the northern tier of states. Radar right now picking up some light snow developing all the way from Kansas down through Oklahoma. Oklahoma City, way down south there, 3 inches of new snow so far today, including an inch in just the last hour. And the radar is picking up the snow moving up to the northeast at about 20 to 30 miles an hour. Here's the big cold area over the snow cover surface. We are mainly in the single numbers right now, and there are some warmer temperatures south and west of us. We're not likely to see those because our snow cover is deep enough that we're going to stay with the cold readings, I think, over the next several days and perhaps longer than that. Clouds from that approaching storm beginning to work their way now into portions of western Iowa, and I think that later on tonight we'll increase in our clouds. That'll hold our temperatures around the 0 mark, not allow them to fall quite so far as it did last night. National satellite picture shows that the snow and mixed with freezing rain extends all the way down south in Texas. The west coast is on the quiet side, a few sprinkles along the coast, and the east coast also had a pretty decent day today on the cool side after some readings in the 50s and record-breaking temperatures over the last couple of days. Super radar shows that the precipitation is at the moment well to the south of us. We don't look for any problems here tonight or early tomorrow if you're doing any traveling. First chance of slick roads will be coming tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. So the forecast tomorrow: cloudy skies, snow on the light variety beginning by midday in the south, and a little bit of light snow up north. By Sunday, high pressure moving in, partly cloudy skies, and continued cold right through the weekend. Back in a moment with the forecast.
Well, the things you learn at family reunions. What's that, cousin? Oh, well, you use Velveeta. Oh, I know. But that's what our moms used. Don't you cook with natural cheeses? Well, what do you think goes into Velveeta?
It's cheddar and other natural cheeses, milk and other wholesome ingredients, all carefully balanced in the Velveeta process. It melts smoother, cooks easier than any chunk cheese alone.
You really know your cheeses.
It's all in this little yellow box.
Miami, the Metzgers are in my Orlando. Oh,
Isn't it funny how often you hear from friends vacationing in warm places when you're stuck in a cold
Phoenix,
place?
Las Vegas. Now there's an exciting place. Da, 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 da,
Republic Airlines flies to more warm places from Florida to California than any other airline. We have a warm spot for you, too.
Book us on Republic.
Puerto Vallarta.
Nobody serves our republic like Republic.
The Octopus Push is on. Octopush for short. We're pushing the benefits of regular car washing and providing easy access to money-saving coupons, like these in Common Sense. Or turn to the Gold Pages section in the back of your new phone book. Clip the Octopus coupon at the top of page 6 and keep it with you. Then the next time you and your dirty car are near an Octopus car wash, you can drive in for our lowest $3.79 price. The Octopush is on. Drive your dirty car into an Octopus car wash, and don't forget your coupon.
The upper air forecast says that we may get a little bit of light snow and will definitely be on the cold side of normal over the next several days, perhaps several weeks, because the trend is for more northwesterly winds that'll draw down cold air from Canada, and over the deep snow, that means lots of nights below zero, especially when we're clear. High today, 16 after starting below zero at -5, fairly close to our forecast from last night, and way below normal today by an average of about 13 degrees. Clear at the moment, 6 degrees, west winds at 5, 83% humidity, and our barometer rising slightly. Forecast, clear early, increasing clouds and cold. Low tonight, near -5 early, light variable winds. Tomorrow, cloudy and cold, occasional light snow developing by midday, high of 18, east winds at 8 to 15 miles an hour. Light snow tomorrow night, perhaps 1 to 3 inch accumulations. Then Sunday, partly cloudy, continued cold at about 16. Over the next 5 days, temperatures averaging well below normal. That's the weather. Have a good weekend. Marsh?
Badgers and the Bulldogs tonight in Duluth. Big WCHA battle.
Kind of a must-win game.
Yes, pretty good basketball game on tap tonight. Wisconsin women against Ohio State at the Fieldhouse.
Kohl's food stores are having a mouth-watering, tender, juicy USDA choice beef steak sale. If you've been wanting to treat your family to a special meal, let them eat steak, while Kohl's delicious sirloin steak is $1.98 a pound. Save on other steak favorites, too, during Kohl's USDA Choice Beef Steak Sale. And what goes better with steak than sautéed fresh mushrooms? Bag your own for 98 cents a pound at Kohl's and Super Kohl's, the best food stores in town.
How does your fabric softener smell?
Nice. Nothing.
Introducing new Unscented Bounce.
Unscented Bounce doesn't leave a scent on my clothes. That I love. Regular Bounce gives me the long-lasting freshness I love.
Now there are 2 kinds of Bounce.
Both control static cling, while both leave your clothes soft and fluffy.
Regular or new Unscented Bounce for...
Nice.
Or...
Nothing.
Introducing a new herbicide for both grasses and broadleaf weeds in corn. A new herbicide that checks 32 grasses and weeds. Introducing Sudazine Plus. New Sudazine Plus checks more grasses and weeds in your corn than any other premix herbicide. New Sudazine Plus. the one way to get the most control.
The Aaron's difference. While others offer various rates on selected models, Aaron's goes one step further. The Aaron's difference is 10.9%. 10.9% means the absolute lowest new car finance rate on all 82 and 83 Oldsmobiles and Cadillacs.
I'm Jim Canvey. 10.9% is the Aaron's difference.
Quality, service, selection, price, and now 10.9% financing. That's the Aaron's difference.
Hello, everybody. The University of Wisconsin women's basketball team is heading into an important weekend that could have a lot to say about the Big Ten Conference Championship. Tonight, the Badgers host first-place Ohio State at the Fieldhouse, then host Indiana on Sunday afternoon at 3. The Badgers haven't been beaten at home in the conference this season. In other Big Ten games this week, Minnesota hosts Indiana tonight and Ohio State on Sunday. The Wisconsin men's basketball team is in Columbus, Ohio this evening, awaiting tomorrow night's game against the Buckeyes of Ohio State. The Badgers will be trying to move out of a tie for the Big Ten basement with Michigan, but Ohio State will probably be smarting after their double overtime loss from Wednesday night to Minnesota. Last night, the Badgers had their Big Ten record fall to 2-6, bowing to Indiana 83-73 at Assembly Hall. The visiting Badgers were not expected to do well against the 6th-ranked Hoosiers, especially after Indiana had lost to Iowa last Saturday. Corey Blackwell's jumper had the Badgers in contention. No overlooking the Badgers anymore, but still Indiana didn't shoot very well in the first half. They battled for the rebound there. While their outside shooting was cold, Randy Whitman was working the boards. Brad Sellers' short jumper helped Wisconsin take a 4-point lead, 40-36 at halftime. There's that shot. Wisconsin scored the first 4 points of the second half, but then the roof fell in on the Badgers. Indiana's big man, Uwe Blab, did the stomping. He controlled the boards as Indiana scored 14 straight points and outscored the Badgers in one stretch 34-8. With Ted Kitchell scoring 29 points, Indiana beat Wisconsin 83-73. Here's tomorrow's Big Ten men's schedule. In addition to Wisconsin and Ohio State, the two first-place teams will square off. Minnesota is at Indiana. Also, Iowa at Purdue tomorrow night. In the afternoon, Northwestern at Illinois. Michigan State goes to Michigan. A couple of teams ranked in the top 20 did battle last night. 7th-ranked UCLA hosted 18th-ranked Washington State at Pauley Pavilion. Here's a report from ABC Sports.
The Bruins play great defense in the second half. Kenny Fields with the steal. Michael Holton with the score. Again, strong defense as Stuart Gray makes the steal. And Holton scores again. Bruins are cooking. Ralph Jackson with the ball. He loses it, picks it up. In the air, Bruins lead by 8. But late in the game, the Cougars get this fast break bucket from Steve Harrell to cut the lead to just 3. Now, with a minute and a half left, Chris Elo steals from Jackson. Slam dunk, it's all tied at 75. We go overtime. Both teams trade early baskets. Jackson with the ball to Darren Day. Underneath to Jackson. To Stuart Gray. 3-point play, Bruins lead 84-81, but Steve Harrell, who scored 29, counters with the jumper. When the Cougars take the lead on free throws, Kenny Fields takes over with 58 seconds left. Fields, who scored 26, gives the Bruins an 86-85 lead. And with 20 seconds left, Fields gets the slam dunk on the break. UCLA holds on to beat Washington State. Final score, 89-87 in overtime.
The nation's number 1 and 2 ranked college basketball teams will be in action tonight. Top-ranked North Carolina will take on the Citadel in Greensboro Coliseum. Second-ranked Nevada, Las Vegas will host UCSB. That's California, Santa Barbara at the Las Vegas Convention Center.
Hey, my coffee cup.
A spoonful makes a mugful when it's Maxim.
That's rich.
My cup.
A spoonful makes a mugful when it's Maxim.
That's rich.
Compared to this other leading freeze-dried coffee, Maxim concentrates 27% more coffee into every spoonful. Instead of a cup, Maxim makes a mugful.
My cup. A spoonful makes a mugful when it's Maxim. That's rich.
Maxim, the spoonful rich enough for a mugful.
revenge of the 80s. Time for the silver
Welcome to your Bahamas.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Bahamas.
On March 24th, join Bob and Bev Selvey for 8 days and 7 nights in fabulous Freeport. Arrangements through Madison Travel. Your Bahamas WKOW TV holiday. Write or call for a free brochure.
With a strong contingent of boosters in Cardinal and White, the Badger hockey team will take on the Minnesota Bulldogs tonight at Duluth. The annual trip to Duluth is a popular one for Badger hockey fans. And over 300 will be at the Duluth Arena. Wisconsin will be trying to maintain their firm hold on third place. The Bulldogs could tie the Badgers for third if they could sweep. Terry Kleisinger will start tonight in the goal. With the opening of the fledgling United States Football League season slated to open a month and a day from today, the new league is continually trying to bird dog many of the top college athletes in the country who as yet haven't decided on whether or not to sign with the USFL or take their chances by waiting for the NFL draft in April. Among those still up in the air is SMU running back Eric Dickerson, who reportedly has turned down a $1.5 million 3-year contract to sign with the Arizona Wranglers. Dickerson, an All-American, says that he expects another offer from the Wranglers, who would like to corral that Mustang. Meanwhile, the USFL's Michigan Panthers have made another attempt to sign Wolverine All-American wide receiver Anthony Carter. The Panthers have reportedly offered Carter a 4-year contract worth $800,000. The club spokesman says he's optimistic about signing the Michigan star. Heading into tonight's Big 8 prep basketball action, Janesville Craig holds a 1-game lead over 3 Madison schools, Memorial, West, and La Follette. But that all could change tonight when the Cougars invade the Spartan Gym for a showdown battle. The key battle in the Badger Conference tonight finds Monroe at Fort Atkinson. The Blackhawks are unbeaten in league play and are ranked number 2 among the WIAA Class A schools. The most famous Hall of Fame in the sporting world is baseball's in Cooperstown. Not many folks know, however, about the National Wrestling Hall of Fame in Stillwater, Oklahoma. It's been open now for 6 years, and 56 wrestling greats have been inducted into the hall. That includes George Martin, the longtime University of Wisconsin coach who fathered wrestling throughout the state. The Hall of Fame has drawn visitors from all over the country.
Yes, yeah, you can, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, you can go almost any place in here and find a piece of wrestling as it relates to all parts of the country and all eras of time.
The Wisconsin contingent is very strong at the Hall of Fame, from 3-time world champ Lee Kemp to national champs like Russ Hellickson, Andy Ryan, Jim Haynes, and more. As part of this Sunday's Wisconsin Wrestling Show, Ken Syke will have a full report on the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Wisconsin wrestling will be seen this week only Sunday night at 10:30. And it's fight night at the Dane County Coliseum. The opening round of competition in the Southern Wisconsin Tough Man Tournament will take place there. 35 to 40 tough guys from Madison and the area will compete for prize money and a chance to advance to the National Tough Man Contest later in the spring. Contestants can have no previous pro ring experience, so the action which gets underway at 8 o'clock should be fast and furious. And unfortunately, Paul Pittis will not be able to be in the contest because he has pro experience. And that's our sports this evening.
That's right, I retired young. What size trunks do you wear? You
No, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to be there tonight to participate in the fighting. Okay. But I may have to stop by to see a little bit of the action.
All right.
Big weekend for women's basketball on the UW campus.
Big game tonight at the Fieldhouse.
Thanks for joining us. Have a good weekend. We'll be back at 10. Good
night.
A peace of atom bombs, not plowshares. A peace that would become the Cold War, but peace nonetheless. 20 million soldiers were slaughtered in a war fought by 58 nations. An entire people was condemned to die. It was a Holocaust that 6 million Jews would not survive. Benito Mussolini, the once proud Duce of Italy. At the war's end, he was hanged by his own countrymen. Adolf Hitler, the German Führer, who planned a 1,000-year Reich, died by his own hand after only 12 years in power. Allied leaders, Winston Churchill, Franklin Roosevelt, and Joseph Stalin, formed an alliance of the free world and the Soviet Union, which crushed Hitlerism, but would not last into peacetime. 5 men rewrote the course of history.
I'm John Houseman. Tonight we're going to look at why World War II began. We'll see how the personalities of these 5 men changed our world. We'll also see these men only fought the war. They didn't cause it.
I recently played the role of a Jewish writer, an American living in Italy at the outbreak of the Second World War. My character was part of a new ABC film for television based on Herman Wouk's celebrated novel, The Winds of War.
Tonight, with a combination of newsreel clips and dramatic scenes from The Winds of War, we'll bring alive the people who were these times.
Video station, video.
In the world of video, the video station is the station to watch. First to offer you a budget movie club. First to offer you over 1,000 movies to choose from. First to add over 40 new movies every month. First to offer you a full line of video accessories, including recorders, cameras, and more. Check out the rest, then come to the best. The entertainment leader, the video station.
Catch the latest sports action and take part in our live call-in segment. Saturday nights at 6:30. It's 27 Sports Live Line.
Wisconsin Wrestling with Russ Hellickson features Badger and Prep Wrestling news, weekly technique clinics, and interviews with UW wrestlers. Tune in to TV 27, Sunday afternoons at 5.
The First World War. It was a conflict that destroyed old empires and created new states. Much of the war was fought along a 10-mile strip of French territory. The horror of trench warfare is difficult to imagine. A German propaganda leaflet suggested, dig a trench shoulder high in your garden, fill it half full of water and get into it. Remain there for 2 or 3 days on an empty stomach. Furthermore, hire a lunatic to shoot at you at close range. That was what it was like. But Americans did enter the war. A German delegation came to the forest of Compiègne to ask for an armistice. The surrender was signed on November 11, 1918, in a railway car. The terms of the Treaty of Versailles were used by Britain and France to squash future German territorial ambitions by making the German military machine impotent. Germany was also made to pay enormous war reparations.
In destroying German self-esteem, the Allies unwittingly converted their treaty from a document of peace into a blueprint for war. The day World War I ended was the day the seeds of World War II took root.
Amongst the cheering crowds in the streets that day was Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Assistant Secretary of the Navy. In London, the Minister of Munitions, Winston Churchill, went to pay his respects to the Prime Minister at number 10 Downing Street. In Milan, Benito Mussolini, a fiery young newspaper editor, met with his writers to celebrate. For the Russians, the day passed almost without notice. The Bolshevik leader Lenin and the ambitious party official Stalin were otherwise engaged. Lenin had made peace with Germany in March 1918. Their Red Army was locked in a bloody civil war with supporters of the Tsar. At a small German military hospital, an Austrian corporal named Adolf Hitler was stunned by the news. He'd been decorated with the Iron Cross for bravery in the trenches. Later he wrote, "I dug my burning head into my pillow. The armistice was the greatest villainy of the century." Dragged down by the ever-increasing weight of war debt payments, the value of the German mark plummeted. Hunger brought crowds to the breadlines. Anger drove mobs into the streets. Every misery was blamed on the Treaty of Versailles. Bolshevism was on the rise. Hitler, who remained in the Army Reserve, was sent to investigate a suspicious group, the German Workers' Party. He was surprised to find they were founded on principles of nationalism, anti-communism, and anti-Semitism. Hitler soon made the group his own. With a platform centered around rescinding the Treaty of Versailles, Hitler won popular support for his fanatical ideas. In post-war America, having fun became a serious business. Everybody was dancing. Everybody. The fun was infectious. The roaring 20s spread across a Europe desperate to forget. Large loans from American banks meant increasing prosperity. The theatrics of the Berlin bars were mirrored by the theatrical bluffs which Mussolini used in his rise to power.
Viva l'Italia! Viva il fascismo!
The social peril from which Mussolini saved Italy was a fraud. Mussolini was a boaster whose aims and ideas served only his own imperious ambitions. Hitler admired Mussolini, though at their first meeting, Mussolini didn't think much of Hitler. He called him a mad little clown, which he later amended to dangerous fool. Hitler mimicked the Duce's well-rehearsed gestures and speech patterns. But Hitler backed up his theatrics with a ruthless drive and a sense of purpose. In Germany, Hitler was greeted with religious fervor. Hitler was the man who would erase German humiliation. The country that suffered through years of jealous deprivation was ready for his message. In the strength of his voice, his stormtroopers, his symbol, the swastika, the German people saw the embodiment of his words. In 1929, the bottom fell out of the American stock market and foreign loans dried up. A tough new reparations plan was implemented, extending the German burden of guilt. Hitler crusaded against it. Masterful politician, he used this issue to rally the electorate around him. By 1933, the Nazi Party rose to political dominance. As leader of the democratically elected regime, Adolf Hitler, the Little Corporal, became Reich Chancellor. It seemed that Germany had changed overnight. Uniforms, rallies, marches. Anti-Semitism became official policy. Jews were publicly humiliated. Jewish stores were closed and ransacked. Random beatings on the street were an everyday sight. Hitler moved fast. He disregarded the Treaty of Versailles and rejuvenated the military. In 1936, German troops marched into the demilitarized Rhineland and took up a new watch on the Rhine. Hitler himself led the parade through the streets of Vienna, Austria. He was welcomed as a liberator in a city he'd left years before as an outcast.
Diesen Anspruch, mich in einer 13-jährigen Zugehörigkeit zum Zentrum in Ruhe ersetzen, sondern bitter schwer genug.
He seemed on the brink of invading Czechoslovakia when Chamberlain, the British Prime Minister, flew to Munich. His agreements with the Nazis sacrificed part of Czechoslovakia for peace in our time.
We regard the agreement signed last night and the Anglo-German naval agreement as symbolic of the desire of our two peoples never to go to war with one another again.
Within 6 months, Hitler had occupied the whole of Czechoslovakia. Churchill told Chamberlain when he returned from Munich, "You were given the choice between war and dishonor. You chose dishonor, and you will have war." The British chose to appease Hitler mainly because the ruling upper class was more afraid of communism than Nazism. At least Hitler would keep the Bolsheviks back. But they underestimated Hitler's ambition. Before the year was out, Hitler ordered the invasion of Poland. It was a gigantic gamble. Britain and France had guaranteed Poland's borders, and they were reluctantly negotiating an alliance with Russia, Poland's eastern neighbor. But Stalin was a deeply mistrustful man. His army purges gave ample evidence of this. So, in an extraordinary move, he signed a non-aggression pact with the arch-anti-communist Hitler and joined the invasion of Poland from the other side. After 4 brutal weeks of blitzkrieg, German troops occupied Warsaw. A nervous calm fell over the capitals of Europe. 2 days after the invasion, France and Britain had reluctantly declared war on Germany. But then, they did nothing. Hitler had gambled brilliantly. The impenetrable Maginot Line stretched across France's German border, symbolizing the French defensive posture. In their fortresses, French soldiers waited patiently for the Germans. They waited 7 months. Then the French army was routed in 7 days. German troops bypassed the north end of the line in Belgium. They attacked French fortifications from behind. French guns were all pointing the wrong way. British soldiers sent over to fight scrambled back to their makeshift evacuation fleet, and Hitler's army marched into Paris. The world was stunned. Hitler had turned the Maginot Line into a gigantic joke. Adolf Hitler said in Paris, "This is the finest moment of my life." With typical theatrical irony, Hitler chose to stage the French surrender in the railway car at Compiègne, where the Germans had surrendered World War I.
What does it say? Here on the 11th of November 1918, succumbed the criminal pride of the German Empire. vanquished by the free peoples which it tried to enslave. Have it blown up.
It seemed to all the world that Hitler had triumphed in Europe.
Excuse me, but how would you ship cheese to Swiss? How about screwdrivers to Phillips? Well, how would you ship rifles to Range? Four-Way Express serves Swiss, Phillips, and Range, Wisconsin, and all cities and towns in the state.
If you run a small business, profits can get squeezed when inventory doesn't match up with production. What you need is a tool for modern times, the IBM Personal Computer. Not only can it help you plan ahead, it'll balance your books and give you more time to make dough. And the cost? That's the icing on the cake.
See the IBM Personal Computer at Computerland on Odana Road and East Washington Avenue.
For a limited time, this TV offer brings you The Mellow Side of Eddie Arnold.
I'd trade all of my tomorrow.
A giant collector's library, including Casey Jones and...
Will the circle be
16 full-length hits of Eddie Arnold, one of country music's most respected singers. This offer includes this great extra as Eddie sings with the Hugo Winterhalter Orchestra and Choir.
Wagon wheel.
The Mellow Side of Eddie Arnold also brings you...
Whispering home.
That's How Much I Love You, Chained to a Memory, and 13 other hits as only Eddie Arnold can sing them.
Just a little.
Don't miss this one-time TV offer, The Mellow Side of Eddie Arnold. 16 favorites at an incredibly low price. Double album, $9.98, 8-track or cassette tapes, $11.98.
Just send $9.98 for albums, $11.98 for 8-track or cassette tapes to Eddie Arnold, Wisconsin TV Network, Box 100, Madison, Wisconsin.
I could never tell.
Hello, America. This is Edward Murrow speaking from London. There were more German planes over the coast of Britain today than at any time since the war began.
Hitler's Luftwaffe had begun a constant bombardment of major British cities. Churchill, now Prime Minister, rallied his people with stirring words.
If tonight the people of London were asked to cast their votes as to whether a convention should be entered into to stop the bombing of all cities, an overwhelming majority would cry, no, we will mete out to the Germans the measure, and more than the measure, they have meted out to us.
On the other side of the world, Japan, Hitler's ally, had conquered an area of China larger than the combined landmass of Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. They had killed 2 million Chinese. A worried Franklin Roosevelt watched this epidemic of world lawlessness spread. The war, already fought on 3 continents, could easily contaminate a 4th. Roosevelt's political opponents accused him of wanting to steer America into the war.
I shall say it again and again and again. Your boys are not going to be sent into any foreign war.
It was a promise Roosevelt knew he couldn't keep. Churchill had told him that Britain was out of guns and money. Give us the tools, said Churchill, and we'll finish the job. But Roosevelt knew America had to join the war. For the moment, though, his hands were tied.
Even aiding England posed a political challenge to Roosevelt. The Lend-Lease program was his brilliant solution.
The people of Europe who are defending themselves do not ask us to do their fighting. They ask us for the implements of war, the planes, the tanks, the guns, freighters, which will enable them to fight for their liberty and our security. We must be the great arsenal of democracy.
Hitler could have used Lend-Lease as an excuse to declare war on the United States, but his attention at that moment was elsewhere. He needed food and oil to keep his armies marching. He decided to prepare for a massive strike against the Soviets, though in the West the Battle of Britain was not yet won. Once again, Hitler's armies moved with devastating speed. On June 22, 1941, the Germans launched a three-pronged attack into Russia. An alliance was quickly formed between Stalin and Churchill. If Hitler invaded hell, said Churchill, I would make a favorable reference to the devil. There is an old German proverb, in time of war, the devil makes more room in hell. The Battle of Russia was hell. It was the first time the Germans had suffered heavy losses. Millions of Russians were killed. But Russia knew that the price of defeat might be worse than death. At Nazi concentration camps, German and Polish Jews were made to work until they dropped. Most were exterminated. The British Navy was fighting a desperate sea war with the German U-boat command and Luftwaffe for the control of the shipping lanes vital to Britain's survival. But America was still unready for war.
By December 4th, 1941, Hitler's armies could see the towers of the Kremlin. The British were hemmed in, and France was locked up. Victory was in his grasp. Yet, 1 week later, Hitler had almost certainly lost the war.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
Frankly, Scarlett, I just don't give it.
Ouch! This bed's like concrete.
Cut! Vivian, darling, what's the difficulty?
Can't somebody find me a better bed?
You bet.
Who said that?
How about a brand new bed? We've got singles, doubles, twins, kings and queens, and all this week, they're all on sale.
Hold it!
Frankly, Pete, I like them all.
Pete, how do you do it?
Come on, you know how.
Here comes summer fun. It's the 1983 Dane County Camping Show and Sale. See the new ideas in recreation vehicles, campers and travel trailers that pull easily behind compact cars, luxurious park model RVs for a vacation home that can move to your favorite spots. There's camping equipment, motorhomes. Visit with your favorite campground owners, too. Get ready for fun and savings at the Dane County Camping Show and Sale, Friday, February 4th through Sunday, February 6th at the Dane County Forum next to the Coliseum.
The Winds of War is a drama about the stirring war years that led up to Pearl Harbor. Author Herman Wouk also adapted his book for television. To comment on his venture into the unfamiliar world of television writing, here is Mr. Wouk.
Why did I take on this heavy task in an unfamiliar medium? And why, for that matter, did I spend 16 years of my life writing my novel, The Winds of War, and its sequel, War and Remembrance, assembling a war library of over 1,000 volumes, traveling to 9 countries? Well, the answer lies in a few words of a French Jew, Julien Benda, which I quote in a preface to The Winds of War. Peace, if it ever exists, will not be based on the fear of war, but on the love of peace. It will not be the abstaining from an act, but the coming of a state of mind. In this sense, the most insignificant writer can serve peace, where the most powerful tribunals can do nothing. I wrote my 2 novels to serve peace, and I wrote the television adaptation of The Winds of War to serve peace by keeping in remembrance what happened in the world's worst man-made catastrophe, the Second World War. Television today is by far our most powerful means of communication, and it is my deep conviction that the beginning of the end of war lies in remembrance.
There's a tradition of caring in America. People caring for the land and their homes, friend caring for friend, family helping family in time of need. This tradition of service, of neighbor helping neighbor in times of joy and sorrow, is part of our heritage. At Schrader Funeral Home, this tradition goes on. Our family serving your family. Schrader Funeral Home, now into our 76th year of service to the Madison area.
This is Fitness Forever. It's a free, easy shape-up guide. Fitness Forever shows you how to exercise and eat sensibly. There's good advice on planning a well-balanced diet that includes milk. You'll find delicious recipes featuring a variety of foods, including real dairy foods and milk. That's important because milk gives you the energy and nutrition you need to keep fit. Shape up and enjoy the goodness of milk. Look for your free copy of Fitness Forever. It's available now at your supermarket.
Are you still waiting to buy that new car? Waiting for the cost of money to come down? Your wait is over. Now, Smart Motors is offering 11.9% financing on all new Toyotas. Think of it, 11.9% financing from Smart on all new Toyotas. It's true. If you're considering financing a new car, now's the time at Smart Motors. New Toyotas available with 11.9% financing at Smart Motors, Odana Road.
Good evening. Coming up on Source 27 News tonight, popular recording artist Karen Carpenter is dead. Miss Carpenter, who had been suffering from anorexia nervosa, died of a heart attack today. The government has come out with new employment figures. Those figures show unemployment has dropped some. Locally, what's hoped to be the final barrier to construction of a new MATC campus has been eliminated. Today, a circuit court judge says no additional referendum is necessary in order for construction to begin. And a Poinet trucker, like many other independent truckers these days, says the roads are too risky. Not as much, but more snow this weekend. And in sports, UW hockey team in Duluth. All the news tonight at 10.
there? Come on, honey.
Feels like it's time for cup of soup.
You like the croutons?
Yeah, what are croutons? Feels like it's time for cup of soup.
Croutons, broad noodles, each country-style cup of soup has an extra touch that makes it special. You never had soup so good so fast.
Feels like it's time for cup of soup. Where'd you go? Country style cup of soup. Feels like it's time. That's good. Cup of soup time. Tab.
Who gets the tab?
Tab. For beautiful people. Tab.
This evening by the House of Representatives. The $165.3 billion plan passed on a 282 to 148 vote and makes all American workers and retirees alike share the burden of the bailout. Provisions call for affluent retirees to pay income tax on half their benefits, acceleration of payroll tax increases, a delay of July's cost of living increase, increasing the levy on the self-employed, and forcing the federal workers to join Social Security in 1984. Along with the plan, an amendment was passed that raises to age 66 the retirement age for those aged 23 to 40, and for those 23 years old and younger, the new retirement age would be 67. The federal government has published a book filled with pictures of tanks, helicopters, and satellite smashers, but the weapons don't belong to the U.S., they belong to the Soviet Union, and the purpose of the book is to convince Congress and the country to spend whatever's necessary to prevent what the administration is calling world domination by Moscow. Today, Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger met with reporters to promote the new book, and the whole session was carried live via satellite to Europe, so Weinberger's message could be heard there as well.
I am saying that they have acquired an enormous additional weapon strength, and that they have, by that very means, required us to not to seek military superiority over them, but we have to maintain a degree of deterrent strength that is much higher than we had to maintain in the past.
The book has photographs and sketches of Soviet weapons never before seen in unclassified documents, and the book claims the weapons are superior to those of the U.S. Critics charge Weinberger is exaggerating the threat and that the Secretary wants to spend money on weapons the U.S. doesn't need. The Mendota Mental Health Institute reports its new maximum security ward is nearly ready for 70 patients from the Central State Hospital in Waupun. Crews at the Institute work today on the last of $6 million worth of remodeling. Staff members have been training for the last 6 weeks to fill nearly 150 new positions. An $800,000 fence has been built around the maximum security ward. The fence is equipped with microwave detection beams to help turn lights and cameras on anyone who tries to escape. The 70 patients are scheduled to be transferred to Mendota over a 3-week period beginning March 28th. Members of the public will be allowed to tour the new ward during an open house on March 20th. A rash of baby deaths in the Madison area, classified only as SIDS, or sudden infant deaths, has prompted one hospital to take action. Bob Peters reports.
Young Jennifer Coleman is an alive and healthy baby. But since the first of the year, 10 babies from the Madison area, not unlike Jennifer, died from sudden infant syndrome. Experts consider that a very high rate.
It's just really bad. You know, you see this poor little infant on the bed and there's nothing you can do for it.
Tonight at the Methodist Hospital Health Care Center, experts from emergency, social, and health services gathered to find out more about SIDS. And so far, what's known in the medical community is very little.
Well, the most commonly accepted supposition about the cause of SIDS is that it has something to do with malfunction of the brainstem in the area that controls breathing, and that these children, for some reason, stop breathing and don't remember to start again.
There is help for parents whose children have died from SIDS. The National SIDS Foundation is researching the syndrome, and in the Madison area, a parental support group can be contacted through any hospital emergency room. Bob Peters, Source 27 News Tonight.
The best best food store in town. Kohl's.
You can always depend on Kohl's for quality and